Hey everyone, it's Ashley and today I'm here to talk about my college application process experience, my stats, the schools I applied to, the schools I got into, and my tips that I've learned along the way through this experience and what I recommend y'all doing to help your college process a little bit easier. If you guys didn't know, I am attending Texas A&M University as a chemical engineering major. I applied 11 schools and that sounds a lot. Based on like the YouTube videos I watched before, that is a lot of universities, but my school required me to apply to at least 9, which is even a lot for a lot of people. But I was fortunate enough that my school like paid for my like fee waivers and stuff, so I didn't have to worry about that. If your school allows you to have fee waivers, use that to your advantage, like the ACT fee waivers. I think there's an SAT fee waiver, I don't remember exactly, but I used the ACT fee waiver for almost all my schools. I was very hesitant at first to share my stats with you guys just because I feel like my stats are pretty average. I was getting a lot of comments on my college reactions and my college review video, like they wanted to know like my stats, and I was very hesitant, but I said I would make this video, so here I am. For my SAT, I took that one time and I wanted to take it at least 2 times, but I do live in Houston and Hurricane Harvey came and that kind of messed up my whole plan. My school primarily focused on ACT, which for me, if I were you, I would definitely take the SAT, but definitely take both and just see which one you like better. Personally, I wish I had decided to try out the SAT a lot sooner than I decided I was going to, because I was prepared for ACT all my high school, but my scores weren't improving. And it wasn't even because like I couldn't do it. Like I took so many ACT tests, but I wasn't studying hard enough. I went to like ACT tutorials and stuff, but it was simply because what was pulling me back was my English and reading. And my reading, I could never finish the passages. For me, I thought the SAT was a lot easier. You had more time for less questions. The one time I did take the SAT, I didn't fall asleep reading the passages, like the ACT passages. Like I could not get through the readings ever because I would always like start falling asleep, which is so bad. Like that's probably the reason why like my score was dragged down, was because of like my reading in English, and I know that for sure. The difference between SAT and ACT is that ACT has a science section as well, while SAT doesn't. SAT has 2 math section, a calculator, and non-calculator. But besides the point, I took the SAT. I decided I wanted to take 2 SATs, and one I was just like, I didn't study prior to my SAT. I was just gonna be like, oh, let me just see how it goes and wing it, and then I would apply for a second SAT date and actually study for that one, and that score would just come right in time for my college applications. Little did I know. So I took my SAT test and then Harvey came in and all like the testing got postponed. Same thing for my ACT. I took my ACT 3 times. I wanted to take it a 4th time. I didn't study at all for the first 2 times, and the 3rd time I was going to study, but then I was at A&M camp. The first time I took my ACT, I didn't really take it too seriously, like just kind of like, let me just wing it, because I knew I was taking it another 2nd time at the end of my junior year, and I got the same score as my first time, which is I got a 26. And then the 3rd time I was gonna take it, the day that I was supposed to take the test was when Harvey came, but I ended up getting a 27 on my ACT. I don't know if I said my SAT score, but I got a flat 1200, which I don't think 1200 is low, I think, but I don't think it's terrible for like me taking it for the first time and going in blind. If you convert a 1200 to ACT, that's a 26 already, and I didn't even study. So without even studying, I already got the same score that I got on my ACT, and I could, if I had the opportunity to, I would totally like actually take the SAT and study, and like hopefully I would have gotten a higher score. I feel like my ACT and SAT scores were low, and that's like the reason why I didn't get into a lot of universities. Like I don't know, I feel like I'm just sharing like my diaper, because like I don't know, like these scores, like I'm not letting test scores like define who I am, because I know like I'm a lot smarter than like what my scores are showing me, but you know, I can't always be the full package, just because, you know, reading and English kind of just like brings it down. I was top 10% of my class. So in Texas, you are automatically enrolled into public universities if you're top 10%. So I applied to University of Texas, Texas A&M University, and University of Houston. However, at UT, I didn't get into my major of choice. I was told this year that There was a lot of applicants in general this year in the class of 2018 that was applying, and there was a lot of us this year. And so I know UT was being very highly selective. I don't know how they were accepting kids because I don't think anyone at my school got into their major of choice. I highly recommend you apply to Safety, Target, and Dream schools. Safety schools are schools that you know for sure you're going to get into. Target schools are, you have a 50-50 chance of getting into. It's just like, it really depends on what they're looking for specifically for that year. And Dream schools are just like Ivy League schools, and like schools that like, you know, you have a very small chance of getting into, but hey, let's just do it and like let Jesus take the wheel, you know? Okay, I'm gonna just name like all my schools that I applied to. I applied to UC Berkeley, I didn't get in. Notre Dame, I didn't get in. Georgia Tech, I didn't get in. Georgia Tech was one of my target schools, and it was 50-50, and I didn't get in. So I was a little salty then, but I'm not too salty now. Syracuse University, I got in, and I also got into their study abroad program, which was pretty cool. Texas Tech, Stanford, which is a dream, and UC San Diego, which I got into, and USC, which is also a dream school. UC San Diego is also a target school if you're wondering. Schools are so expensive and they're not going to give you financial aid, especially if you're applying to a public university. It's super expensive. If you are applying out of state, I recommend you applying to like the private universities because they will give you more money than a public university will. A lot of my friends that are going to private universities like Notre Dame or Vanderbilt or like Emory, they are getting most of their tuition paid by financial aid. If like, obviously if like you have like a low enough EFC and like FAFSA and whatnot. But yeah, like you will get more financial aid from private universities rather than public universities, just because public universities prioritize their in-state residents. So that's why like I wish I understood that more when I was applying, and I wouldn't be like as bummed because I was like shook. But when I saw my financial aid for like UCSD, like I was like, I love the school, but like I can't afford there, you know? How I saved a lot of money was a lot of scores require you to have official scores. Ask your counselor if it's possible to put your scores on your transcript. Most of my universities that I applied to accepted like scores on my transcript as official scores, and like each score is like $12 to send or something like that, $12-13 to send to universities. And when you're applying to a lot of universities, like it adds up, and you're like at this point, like you're a broke senior kid, like you gotta save up money for prom, you gotta save money for like a whole bunch of stuff, and going into college, like you're gonna be broke, like let me just tell you. So ask your counselor if it's possible to put your scores on your transcript. Like that saved me so much money. And just call the schools that you're applying to and simply just ask like, hey, my counselor put my scores on my transcript, would you consider that as an official score? Some schools will say no, some schools will say yes, but most of my schools said yes, and I saved so much money by doing that. And if you're applying to college, well, I'm assuming you are if you're watching this video, but start now. Like start in the summertime and just write and like keep editing and just get it to like just perfect it. If your university is telling you like optional essays, do every single essay even if it's optional, because it's not optional. Like they want to see your work. In Texas we do Apply Texas. If you're not doing like out of state, you would obviously use Common App, but Apply Texas has 3 different essays. Do all 3 essays. Most Texas schools don't require you to like have essays, but I send my essays anyway. I know like Common App, like there's supplementals that are like optional essays stuff. Do the optional essays because the more they get to know you, the more they'll like you, and you want to show how well-rounded you are as a person. Start your essays now. My one regret is that I waited until school started for me to start my essays, and insert clips of me crying my eyes out just because of how much stress it was, not only because I had school and homework to do, but I also had these college applications and essays and everything I needed to get done. So it's currently October 11th, 11:16 p.m. 2017, and right now college is all I can think about. I'm trying to meet the October 15 deadlines, but I have all these supplementals I have to do. It's like my little update, like I'm crying inside. Hey guys, so right now it's currently, well, it just turned October 15, it's 12:01, and I am close to tears. Until I'm really red, I'm like really close to tears. I want to cry. I submitted all of my early actions that are like for due October 15. So I submitted my A&M one this morning, my UT, and my Georgia Tech one. Honestly, I wish I had more time for for Georgia Tech just because it is out of state and it is a more competitive school to get into. But you know, I haven't essays done. Like what I had is what I had. Like there's no changing that. So hopefully like whatever I had was enough to get me into the school. If not, it wasn't meant to be, you know. In like a year when I'm like rewatching this, I'll be like, oh Ashley, like everything's gonna be okay. But right now I'm stressed. So a little update. I'm almost done with all my supplementals. I'm gonna try to finish everything by Thursday, Friday. I'm like really stressed. I'm really tired right now. I'm overwhelmed. I'm stressed. Not to a point of another mental breakdown. Although I had a mental breakdown like Sunday, which was yesterday actually. But I'm really overwhelmed. I have a lot of homework to do. I'm studying for a calc test right now. Probably this calc test won't even matter by the time anyone watches this vlog video. But yeah, I'm behind on my lit work. My AP Lit homework. I have to read A Handmaid's Tale in 1984 in 2 weeks, and they're like really long books. They're like really long, and I am barely on page 10 because I've been putting my college work first. I try to do early action as most schools I can do, because early action will get you a better chance of getting admitted into your university than if you were to do regular decision. Statistically, most high school seniors will wait and apply in December, and I know October 15 is a really big early action deadline. That really stressed me out because I started my essays when fall started, and that put me under a lot of stress because I was like, no, I gotta get my applications. Like, I get my application. Like, you have to perfect it. Like, don't send in your application unless it's like perfected to you think like this is what like best represents you. And I know October 15 was a big deadline, even for like the big public universities. Like, I knew I had a lot of October 15 deadlines for early action and like getting into engineering and whatnot. And if you're like, you don't think your stats are that good, like do early action because you have a better chance of getting into if you would have waited and regular decision rolls around. And you know, you never know, like just try it out. Also for teacher recs, I highly recommend you asking for teacher recs. Just be generous and ask them first before you email them to remind them. My school used Naviance. Don't just send them like a Naviance request for teacher recs. Like ask them in person and then email them reminding them, and then send that Naviance request where they would do teacher recs. You know, just be nice and just be generous. As far as paying for college, I highly recommend applying to outside scholarships, because I did a lot of university scholarships and I didn't get any. Like, I got grants and financial aid, but not like scholarships specifically. Apply to outside scholarships. Like, those are a thing. Like, you think like, oh, like I hear about like all these full ride kids, like I will never, like I can't get scholarships. Like, that's not me. Like, I'm not gonna be one of those kids. Like, those kids are just lucky. Like, no, like apply to outside scholarships, especially the in-state ones. There's so many. Like, don't go on Unigo or something like that. Like, Unigo is like it's nationwide scholarships. Like, you can try it, but like most of the time you're not gonna get it because there's so many applicants. Go for scholarships that are like in your city, like for example, like just Houston. Like, if you're in Houston, like apply for like the Houston Rodeo Scholarship or the Ronald McDonald Scholarship. Little Asian scholarships in Houston. There's a lot of Hispanic scholarships in Houston. Apply to like scholarships in your state. Apply to scholarships in your city. That's like all the tips I really have as of right now. I don't have anything left to say, I don't think, but I'm probably gonna edit this video and be like, I'm missing something. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully like this video helped you out with like my personal experience and like my scores, my stats, and hopefully like that will help you have a better idea of like what to do. Hopefully this video helped you in some way, and yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll touch you guys in the next video. Bye guys.